All right. Good morning and hello, friends. Welcome to this guided exploration, meditation, journey, whatever we want to call it, into the state of being you, your nature. So, this journey is in collaboration with the Human Design Rave Marathon. And if you're coming from that platform, you're here to explore. You're here with all this information on what it means to be you. And I think the purpose of this journey is to then explore this further, um, explore this through the body, because this body, this being, this thing is you, and you are. You are your nature, and there is so many brilliant things we can learn about this, what it means to be your nature. We have this all this information from human design. We can have these maps to kind of navigate what it means to be you, me. But what I really like to explore is how can we find the ways, these maps, this information, this intelligence naturally through ourselves. How can we access it? It's not like it's not there. It's absolutely here with us. It's just rediscovering, rekindling that connection, because all of this information, this intelligence that is you, all of this information is accessible through the body. So that makes it quite important to access the body. And for many in this society, a part of the socialization and conditioning is also the conditioning away from the body, away from feeling the body, away from being in the body, away from living in the body. And that involves many different themes. The conditionings and all the things from the people and the surroundings we grew up in, but also the conditioning from the actual environment itself. If our nature is our nature, then we are in harmonic with this nature when we are in harmony with nature, when we are in our field connected to this whole nature. You could call it the ground, you could call it the energy of the earth, you can call it so many things. um, but walking, for instance, in the forest or in nature, you are instantly in this geometry that is itself. It is its own nature. You don't see the trees needing these maps to be itself. They just are filled in. They are clicked into form. They are themselves. So, and that's why many really come to themselves when you are in connection with nature, with this vibration. It's a vibration that activates us to our own nature. And a part of these energetics is also then the connection our energetic field has, and the vessel has to the ground, has to the earth. There are some themes then we're going to explore through this journey of how to come into the body, how to experience this vessel, this animal, this intelligence, and how to also explore how this vessel actually grounds, how it holds a relationship to the ground, and what that means for the support of the structure, meaning the support of being you. So I think we can begin by just for a moment sitting. We're going to go through a couple of positions. We're going to lie down. We're going to go through some easy meditation postures, um, for the sake of using the different positions in the relationship with gravity and the energetics of the earth. So, all the different positions mm, creates a different kind of experience for the vessel. Um, so just make sure that you have a space that you can easily lie down. If you need a blanket, maybe you want a pillow underneath your knees and thighs. So you maybe want some pillows ready. Maybe you want a little bit of a elevation and pillow underneath your head for lying, and also for sitting. You can place a pillow, a big, good pillow, underneath your sitting bones so that you can sit easily, comfortably, or semi comfortably. And we begin in the position of sitting, so then you can uh, prepare yourself, place a pillow underneath your sit bones, and you use this elevation to kind of tilt slightly forward so that you can start to find this line, this inner line that centers the body. This line where the top of the head rests over the chest, where you can let the shoulders sink, and where this whole weight of the torso sinks down into the hips. So this position is more like the regular meditation pose that we use, that we may be known to. But what we are going to explore today is also the different positions and how it is to come into the body with them. So for many, this sitting position is quite uncomfortable due to different restrictions, different places we hold energetic blockages or energy, or whatever you want to call it. But it becomes tension, so it's hard to sit. And this is a part of this process on unraveling your nature. All the places we hold these blockages, these constrictions, the tension in the body, is where there is energetic. Um, there is gathered energy there. I don't like to use the word blockage because it comes with this like good or bad, but there's like just gathered energy in places, and other places it flows more. We're dealing with these ideas of getting the energy to flow throughout the body, or having it not flowing so much in the different body parts. But you will always, in any position with the body, experience where this energy is more held, where there's more uh, not flowing so much. You will experience these areas as uncomfortable in a position. So therefore, this meditation pose is very brilliant because it gives you a map directly into where it's either comfortable or not comfortable. So it's like you can read the energetics of your own body by just noticing where it's uncomfortable, and you can actually start to align and open the body in that way by just moving your awareness to those areas and starting to just breathe, starting to use the natural intelligence of the being, um, to just kind of massage the area, move. We are again exploring this nature, this inner intelligence, the inner GPS in our system, in our body. And what you will find the more you play and experience and meditate with the body is that this intelligence, it's quite intelligent. It knows how to move energy. It knows what the structure, what the form needs. It knows how to realign the system. Um, and realignment, um, this for me is that's my passion, and my study is this intense um, mm, joy and excitement over exploring these things in the body. So for me, it's always very physical. Um, I've been in the human design experiment for many years, but for me, it's always been the strong message of not diving into all the technical information stuff, but more bringing it back to the body, because this is where I am meant to guide. How can we access these things, this intelligence through the body? And the central part of that is always the spine. It's It's the center of your body. It's what the entire body is um, gathered around. So it's like this main skeleton. It's a center. It's a central thing, and the more we kind of come to the center, kind of um, open the energetics along the center, there is naturally always this realignment into self. And that's at the same time a realignment to the connection, the energetics with the earth, the ground, and with the what's above, cosmos, source, whatever you want to call it. Um, but these can be very airy, fairy themes and ideas. But for me, in the study of how to be my own nature, it's it's crucial parts of actually being my nature, because in the center for being me, this essence, um, allowing this thing to kind of just steer this vessel, and taking a step back and sitting a little bit in the back in the passenger seat, this flow, this thing that steers this vessel, this thing that is me, is my essence. And this essence is a part of this channel that comes from above and below. It's a part of the energetics. And always when you work with the central channel, or whatever you want to call, just the central part of your body, the alignment of it, the openness of it, the energy flows there in the different regions, it always brings you back to yourself. It's where your essence is allowed more of this expression, more of this freedom to be. And the people who work more with the seven centered ideas of chakras call it the seven belts of tension. So you have this belt of tension in the lower part, around the perineum, inside the pelvic floor. You have this tensions around the spine in different areas, calling it the seven belts of tension. And for me, this is where the natural expression of you has been constricted, restricted throughout a lifetime of living in this socialized world, um, being conditioned. So there is this natural flow of the essence in the center part of the body, some call it the central channel, um, and where this natural expression in all through all the centers are being held back. There's also the energy is restricted there. The natural impulse that comes through all the energetic channels, um, the impulse to act, the impulses that comes from the spark that is you, um, is being held back. So the energy is constricted there. The expression is not free. So if you want to work with freeing this being, this expression that is you always can come back to freeing along the spine, freeing the flow, the openness, the freedom around the spine, because it touches on the different energetics, of awareness. It's just different parts of your awareness. So, then, if we're going to now continue our journey, I'm going to explain one more thing, and then I'm going to start guiding the journey. I promise. Not so much talking. But there are some things we need to go through. And we are here exploring this state of being. And for me, I find that um, you can almost divide it into the state of doing, the state of being. And the energetics of doing, if you read the energy of the body, it's almost like in the normal world, we could say, when we're acting in the not self. The energetics of doing then is almost like the energy is pulled up from the legs, up from the body. It's not so much energy here, it's more gathered up here and almost projected out towards whatever the thing that you're doing is trying to get you towards. So it's like the energy of you is almost hanging out of your body, projecting itself over there towards what it's trying to get to. Because it has this idea that it has to get there. It has to do, to be more, to achieve, to get somewhere. And then, because for me, it's all about how to do the energetics with the body, because this can be ideas. It can be the ideas of doing and trying to move away from the now, but then you can actually experience it in the body, the difference in the energy kind of whoop, being up over there trying to get somewhere, and then when you're coming back, you can actually allow your energy to sink back into you, into the body, into here, into now. So let's play with this idea first before we venture on. Start to just, as you exhale, you can allow your energy to sink a little bit. To sink, let the shoulders sink, let your weight sink, almost like you're feeling yourself sinking down. Your awareness, your being inside the body sinks down into the body and starts to fill it out. So as you exhale, you can notice that you can sink deeper into the body. You can sink further down. And you can also allow this awareness to fill out the legs, to fill it out from the inside, almost this feeling of clicking into form. And you can fill it down all the way down into the feet, almost like you're filling yourself all the way, almost complete. It's this feeling of actually clicking into the form. You can feel this filling out all the way out to the skin. You can also feel it radiating from out of the skin. But you are here, you're centered inside this form. So the state of being is sinking into the now. The state of being is sinking into being. It actually comes with the energetics also of this being enough. Being more than enough. It's this feeling of not being enough, not being connected to this love source that is the bindings of this whole entire universe. It's this illusion of separation that gives us this kind of continual pressure to having to do, to get somewhere, to achieve something in order to be. But as you exhale now, you can allow yourself just physically to experience sinking into the now, sinking into the body with this feeling of being, that being is enough. That being is enough. And at the same time, there's this kind of sigh, a release, a softening from not having to do or achieve anything. And you can also project this into the meditation itself, that you're not trying to get anywhere, not trying to achieve anything, because instantly when we're there in that energetics, we are in the energy of trying to get elsewhere, away from here, away from the body, away from what's here, present in the now. It's the being. So it's a feeling inside of you, a growing feeling inside of you, a feeling of you. And with that, I think we can continue by lying down. So you find your position, get comfortable, do the adjustments. If you want a pillow underneath your knees and thighs, you go ahead. Pillow underneath your head, you go ahead. And when you come down into a lying position, there's a whole other different relationship to gravity here, a different relationship to the form. But you can first just start to wiggle. Notice how much you want to spread your legs, how much you want to spread the arms. Wiggle just to get the neck and shoulders feeling aligned and get into your position. And again, these tiny little wigglings, this tiny little craving from the body to move the arms slightly, or it's a sign of this intelligence we are on the search for. It's this divine GPS, this intelligence that is you, the same that the map your design shows you. This intelligence is all the different awareness intelligences in the body, and this awareness, this it knows what feels aligned to you, also in the physical form. So having this kind of physical craving or wanting to adjust the shoulders slightly, or it's this feeling of it's not coming from the mind. You didn't think about, oh, I should move my shoulders there. It comes from the body, from the intelligence itself. It's natural, it's there, spontaneous in the now. And it shows you something amazing. It shows you how the structure, how the form knows and always search for what feels aligned to you, what feels right to you. It's there in an actual physical position, searching for alignment. But it's also there in every moment. It's there in regards of choosing what to eat. It's there when you feel what people feels right and what doesn't. It's there in regards of what choices you're going to make, what just feels right, what where the energy goes and where it doesn't. It's something maybe we have to practice a little bit, because some of us have not spent so much time listening to the body, listening to all these impulses, all of this intelligence, always in every single moment, giving you loads of feedback of what's right, what's in resonance to you, your essence. So as you're now lying down, you can start to explore and sense how the different relationship to earth and gravity is now presenting itself, in how all the body parts now are resting, are are subdued to gravity, and the kind of mm, act of love gravity now offers in helping you release, relax. The gravity is all around you, all around the legs, all around the arms, all around the torso and the head. And you can, as you exhale, allow each and every body part its heaviness. Allow it to be. Allow gravity to gently release these body parts towards the ground. So, if the structure, the nervous system, actually always search for the support from the environment to the inner being, then the experience of lying will give the nervous system a lot of feedback when it comes to support. Because now you have the sensation underneath each and every one of the body parts. There's a lot of support to be experienced. This is the thing about experiencing support, or the foundation of the ground or the earth, or our relationship to the ground, you can call it. It's essential for the state of being, for being your nature. When the energy is more gathered up in the mind, the actual physical structure, the nervous system, experience less of the legs. It experiences less of the actual feeling of the ground underneath the feet or underneath your sitting bones. Or so the internal message in the actual more uh, subtle subconscious messages in the body is that there is less support for you here. So this becomes very, oh, there's less support, and then the body tries to create the support by itself by tightening around the hips, by tightening different areas of the body to try to create stability. But right now in this moment, you don't have to do that, because you can allow the body, the nervous system, to actually feel the ground. And now you have this ground, this representative of support, the support for you to be all that you are here in the now. You can allow your legs to feel the support, it's there. You can probably feel it more underneath the heels, because the heels press into the ground. There's a pressure in between the heels and the ground. And then you can allow the feet to be all that they are. Allow the feet their full and total heaviness, and just let that weight sink and actually rest completely on the ground. And as you continue to exhale, you can allow your legs, your knees to soften a little bit, and you can move your awareness to the thighs. It's like we started this feeling of filling out the form, so you can feel the thighs from the inside. You can try to place your awareness inside the thighs, and you can start to sense the thighs. It's a huge mess. It's all these muscles, this thick, long bone. And as you exhale, you can allow the thighs to just rest its total body weight on the ground. So you're allowing all the different body parts to receive, to be. Then you can move your awareness up to the butt cheeks. And here you have a quite visible pressure, visible contact point with the ground. Just like underneath the heels, you can feel how there's this pressure around each sitting bones. And as you exhale, you can kind of relax your butt cheek. You can kind of allow the whole weight of the pelvis to release itself, to receive the support of the ground. This is a very important body part to experience this, because it's the most central body part. The body itself tried to create stability by tightening. In this feeling of an unstable world, the body, the tissues try to tighten around the hip to give the base of the spine this sensation of stability, a perceived stability in the unstableness of the world. But right now, you can allow for something else. You can allow for the hips to not have to do this itself, not have to hold the body up itself. Now you can allow the hips to actually sink down into the ground and just be itself, be all of itself, be all of its weight. And notice the most magical thing. When you allow the hips to be all that they are, to be their total weight, that's actually when they also are receiving the support. Another little brilliant clue from the body about how to be ourselves. So, the more we actually take this place, the more we are experiencing the support to be all that you are. It's the beautiful natural relationship with the earth. It's there, it's meant, this energetics of the earth is meant to always give us this feeling of support so we can relax into actually being all that we are. But when this connection is not there, less there, there's more mm, tightness in the body, more fear around fully allowing yourself to be all that you are. But you can lean here, you can lean on the ground, you can allow the ground to hold you, to be you. You can allow this relationship with the ground to start um, supporting your nature. So then, as you exhale, feel the heaviness. Feel the heaviness of the hips. Feel the heaviness of the thighs, the knees. Try to feel the actual heaviness of the legs down to the feet. So when we're working with the body, there's many things we can explore. One is the actual physical sensations of muscles and bones and muscles relaxing, and but then there's the next layer, which is almost emotional or energetic, and that's just the feeling in a body part. So now you can feel the feeling in the legs of the heaviness, the actual heaviness, the feeling of the heaviness. Noticing that it's not a like oh it's not a negative heaviness. It's a heaviness that is it's the feeling of actually rekindling the relationship with the ground. It's what healers call grounding, or it's also the heaviness of being, of actually being, of sinking into being. And then you actually feel the body more, the physicality, the density, the the being here on planet Earth in the now. And then from there, you can notice how the upper body is also lying on the ground. There is support for the upper body too. And there's especially one area on each side of the torso where you can feel the actual pressure, the upper body pressing into the ground and the ground pressing up towards the structure. It's like the lower parts of the scapula. See if you can sense that area. It's this token of okay, the body's held here as well. There is support for you here as well to actually, with the exhale, sink into being, sink into the actual body part. So when you exhale, you can allow the chest to become heavy. You can allow the weight. You can feel the contact point with the ground, and you can actually rest more there. So when you exhale, you feel the heaviness in the torso as well. Try to, for a moment, just feel the actual heaviness of being inside the torso. And at the same time, the support for you here. And you notice you can let the shoulders down, you can let the arms down. They kind of, the heaviness spreads out the arms. And there is a feeling of the ground underneath the arms as well. And when you exhale, you can allow the arms to just release their total weight if you're ready for it. to the ground. So you can feel this complete heaviness all the way out to the fingertips. And then it's time for the crown jewel, the head, the mind. So it's something extra special about feeling the support, the ground for this body part. Because this body part, especially, is used to being in charge, being in control, holding itself up, holding everything up. So now you can experience how there is support, you can feel the back of the head pressing into whatever you're lying on, and so there's an experiential, it's an experience, it's there. It's not like something you can doubt because you feel it. It's not something the mind can doubt because you feel it. So then when you exhale, you can allow your head to actually release. You can allow the whole weight of the head to just sink down and feel the ground. Just feel the heaviness. There's this amazing feeling inside the head, the skull itself, of actually sinking. You can continue to play with it. When you exhale, you can allow the head to sink. You can feel the heaviness. Maybe it can almost be endless. It's like you can just release endlessly and allow the head to sink. See if you can just tune to that feeling of sinking in this body part. And at the same time, feeling the heaviness spread. Let the heaviness soften your facial expression, softening around the eyes, allowing gravity to kind of gently release the muscles in the face. You can allow the jaw to sink. You can allow the insides of your mouth to kind of soften. It's like the mouth is this cave, and this cave can soften. And then you can exhale again and play with this awareness that's floating around. Now we were up in the mind, up in the skull. The awareness was more here. And then you can exhale and start to use the exhale as it's designed. It's designed to be with this relationship of both being and sinking down towards the ground, of re-establishing the relationship with the earth, the support for your being. So as you exhale, allow the awareness to kind of sink again down from the head into the chest, the feeling of sinking down. As you exhale, you can allow the feeling of sinking down into the whole torso, down towards the lower abdomen. And as you exhale, you can sink down into the hips. And as you experience this yourself, the state of being is a downward process. It's sinking into being, sinking down into being here. And when you sink down into the form, you also sink down towards the ground. And the natural recycling, the natural communication between you and the earth also starts to occur more. And for, especially for the beings with the open sacral, but for all the beings, this sinking down is also a brilliant thing for releasing energy, releasing all this commotion of being in a lot of stimuli, a lot of energy, and the energy naturally starts to release from the form, to release from where it's been held more, and to kind of start to realign us to our form. It's something that naturally happens when we sink into relaxation and sink down towards the ground. It naturally aligns us with nature, this being both the planet and our nature. They go hand in hand. So as you exhale, allow this feeling of sinking into the thighs, into the knees, into the legs. So you're sinking down into the feet. And you can feel it again when you sink down. You also feel the ground more. The support for you here in the physical to be. For a moment, it's almost like you can allow yourself just to be held. Something you allow yourself to receive. And that is the truth about the planetary support for us. The planet is not just a block of rock, it's a vessel, it's a being just like you and I. And this being is also its nature, the vibration of love. And its nature is also a part of being the support for us, for all the things that lives on her. So as you sink down and allow yourself to be held by the ground, you can also start to, if you choose to, open to the feeling of the earth. The feeling is this nurturing, supporting, loving. There is continual radiance of love just pouring, flowing from beneath you. Just wanting to support you, it's wanting to support this being, wanting to support this being to be. It's why we naturally call her Mother Earth. Because this energy is loving, it's supporting, it's nurturing, it's almost like a mother. It's a feeling of a mother. It's also immense power, energy, but there is love there. There is so much love there for you to be. It's what all of the beings, all of the consciousness in the universe just wants to see. It wants to support and see you be. It's this radiance of love pouring from all directions, just wanting to see you be. And we're meant to be in connection with this. We're meant to be together as these geometric structures of nature is the same harmonics. It's the same. It's a part of the same. Maybe you can feel the slightest little touch igniting inside of you as we touch this very gently on this love. Maybe you can feel this very subtle sensation of love underneath you. Maybe you can feel this little subtle something activate within you. From here, you can just roll up over on your side and come into a fetus position. You can maybe place a pillow underneath your head. Just curl up on your side into a fetus looking position. Place a pillow underneath your head. Some even like to kind of entangle the legs around the pillow, or this position is it's what it's meant to do. It's curling the structure together. It's this safe feeling. It's this curling into ourself, being um, with ourselves in a way. And as you roll up over on your side and get into position, you can also feel that now you have this beneath the side of your body. So we're always coming back in this exploration to play with this idea, to start mm, rebuilding this sensory system for where we can always establish this sensation of the ground, this what it represents, support for us to be. It's safe for us to be, to open, to express, to allow this full free expression of ourselves to be, to come through. So as you lie here on your side, you can exhale and then you most definitely will feel the ground more. It's like each exhale sinks your weight, gives more of your weight down to the ground. So you can exhale and kind of feel the heaviness of the feet, feel the ground underneath the feet. You will always feel the ground very present where the body part presses against it. You can feel the ground press up against the shin, especially the knees. And you can feel the ground press up against the thighs. And you can exhale and just release. So the thighs are being all their weight, so heavy, so delicious. And when you exhale, you can also sink the weight into the hips. It's very interesting. The moment we moved, just flipped over to the side, a tiny bit of energy got activated and kind of lifted us a little bit away from the ground. It's the beautiful dance between this life energy that takes us, moves us, activates us into the state of doing, and then the opposite state where we're exploring the state of being, which then becomes this downward process of exhaling and sinking down into the hips, sinking down into the upper body as well. You can feel the presence of the floor underneath the torso there. And as you exhale, you can just become all the weight here and fully rest it, lean it, all the weight against the ground. And the shoulders sink, the head too. The head is the final piece where you just give the head its weight to the ground. Now you have established again this connection with the ground, the foundation for you to be. And this gives us this ever increasing feeling inside ourselves, our body. Something is relaxing, something starts to feel mm, a little warm and nice and homey inside. It's almost like when you exhale now, you can sink into yourself. And in the physical, sinking into the inner part of oneself is represented by softening a little bit around the spine. So it's like your awareness can kind of move a little deeper into the body, around the tailbone, and with the exhale, just soften a little bit around the lower part of the spine. And we can continue to soften in this position um, as you naturally in a fetus position are relaxed around the spine. It's like the muscles there is more lying in this very like slack, relaxed hammock position. It gives us a very nice opportunity to soften the actual muscles and tissues around the spine, which then starts to open for more of the energetic flow of the inner essence. So you can, from the tailbone, the lower part of the spine, you can continue to see if you can move a little bit higher up and start to, with your exhale, release the lower belly. So when you start to release the lower belly, it represents softening around this part of the spine. So with your, you can continue to exhale, and with each exhale, you can allow almost the belly to soften from deeper within, almost like you feel the softening around the spine there, deep inside this part of the body. The release of the lower back. So of course, as we're working through these different areas of the spine, we are touching upon the different energetic centers in our form. The release around the lower part of the spine, the tailbone, is this release of the root, the beginning, the softening of the root, which is an area that is very much tightened, contracted, because there is this ever flowing pressure from beneath us, pressure of energy coming up into the form, the pressure of the energetics of the earth. And when there's this kind of contraction to this energy, when there's this resistance almost, there's this tightening in this area, um, which is also holding us a little bit away from actually grounding into the form, actually re-establishing the sacred energetics between us and the earth. So, uh, you know how the root is always pressing us away from the now, pressing us to move before it's actually fertile in the now. Now, as you exhale and soften around this area, you're actually softening a little bit to the pressure. It's something we have to learn. We have to learn to kind of relax in this pressure instead of allowing it to move us always away from the now, away from the state of being, into some kind of state of doing from the pressure. So as you exhale, allow yourself to just soften here, soften, with this intent of also softening to this ever flowing pressure to move away from the now. And then going further up along the spine, in the lower part of the belly, when you were releasing the lower part of the belly, allowing it just to hang out, you are starting to soften around the expression of life force itself, the sacral center. And you allow for the energy to flow here. The more a body part is frozen, the less the breath is also there, and the less the movement of energy is there. So as your lower belly release, maybe you can also start to feel the breath sink more down into this body part. And then you can come to the upper belly, and just when you start to exhale and just let this part of the belly go, you start to soften around this area. And this area is very much connected to the solar plexus, how you react to the more lower vibrational emotions, and the more the whole entire range of emotions. And you probably felt it in these moments of where we have this experience of a knot here, when it tightens here, when we avoid confrontation or are in a confrontation here. Um, these energetics tighten this area. But now as you exhale, you can start to soften the upper part of the belly. It's like each and every exhale is also then a release of whatever we held the resistance to in regards of the solar plexus vibrations and emotions. So as you exhale, notice how this upper part of the belly can soften and go deeper within, go deeper to where you start to feel that you're actually softening around the spine here. So when you exhale, there's this very subtle feeling of softening deep inside this body part. Maybe you can start to feel what this softening around the spine is doing. It's this more and more kind of allowing, sinking into being again. This continual process of okay, it's okay. And you can continue to move further up the spine, so the spine in between the shoulder blades, the spine, the spine, the area of the magnetic monopole, the true heart. So then when you exhale, you can just allow yourself to soften around here. Allow yourself to soften. It's not like you have a belly here, but it's kind of like you're doing the same, like you're letting the belly hang out if you had a belly here. You can feel it softening around and in between the scapulas, the shoulder blades. And there's like, it's more space for the heart, for the spark inside here. There's maybe a gentle little igniting also of the heart spark. It's always there. It's just the presence to look for what is there. And you can continue the exhale up towards the throat, the little I can't remember what it's called, the little nook up here in between the clavicles of the throat. And you're also starting to release, pretending almost like you had a belly here as well. So that when you exhale, you're just allowing this belly to hang out, allowing yourself to soften around this part of the spine, which is, of course, then touching upon the throat center and all the energy here, all the energy to express, to act, to move and utilize all this life force in the system. And of course, the tension here is then when we're holding back the natural impulses of our being to act, to do with this vessel as the inner being desires in resonance. So as you exhale, you just want to release around the throat, around, just always looking for the softening around the spine itself. That's where we're really getting to the core of the energetics of it. And when you exhale, you can start to feel then the release up along the neck kind of softening, the neck kind of releasing. And it's like you can feel the neck where it continues up into the head. So there's the neck goes a little bit up into the skull, and then it becomes the brain stem. So, and then it continues up there. So it's like feel the softening up into the stem, and the softening can spread up behind the eyes and up towards the feeling of the third eye, the ajna. The feeling of the ajna will be the energetic center of the ajna, will be where you feel the kind of pressure a little bit further behind the forehead, inside the skull. You can find that there's a place that holds more pressure, feeling of pressure. That's the energy center. So when you exhale, you soften around this body part. So you can almost feel this whole skull kind of melt around the ajna, opening your ability to see and your perception. It's like we tighten in this area both due to the mental pressure and all the kind of utilization of mental energy on different things, but also we tighten in the kind of both fear to see and to not see. The things we don't want to see, the things we are afraid to see. So when you're softening here, you're also opening your perspective. You're opening to see with the eyes of love. Truly, the energetic flow that flows in the center of your being along the spine that you're opening to, that's the essence of you. It's the vibration of love. And when this energy is just flowing through the channel, through the center of your being, up along the spine, it's just different vibrations of love. The vibration of love around the ajna is this vibration of understanding, of this 360-degree ability to see and therefore understand in the eyes of love. And then up, up, up to the top of your head, you have the crown and the energetic center of the crown, tuning to it. It's right at the top of the skull. You can start to maybe feel some subtle sensations there. The energy will naturally start to flow more here as we soften along the spine. So you can almost feel like the top of your head is softening slightly. For some, when it really starts to open, it's almost like you feel a wind there. And as you exhale, you can just open. Here is the opening to the connection to the all, to the cosmos, to the intelligence of it all. The intelligence that gives us this feeling of being connected, not being alone in this existence, in this experience, but actually being a part of it all. If we're talking about this presence of love all around us, the presence we played a little bit with feeling the love of the earth, the vibration of you, your nature is love. Being you is love, is being in the resonance of love. The vibration of earth, being her, is love. The vibration of this whole entire creation is love. So when you open the crown, you're also opening yourself to this tuning, connecting, rekindling this beautiful connection. So maybe you feel this subtle hint there as well of love. Hmm. And from here, I think we can come back up into sitting position. Now the sun is rising here, and it's time for us to rise as well. maybe the sinking into being process is quite relaxing, and sometimes we go very deep and we drift, and sometimes it's a little bit of an energetic release for us as well, and there's a, a lot of things that happens to the body and the system itself as it's kind of start to realign. So maybe you want to stretch or move a little bit, or yawn, or whatever feels good, whatever the body needs. This is the process. If you want to learn to tune to this intelligence, is this process of always playing around with what does the body need? What does it need? What does it crave? What does it feel? And when you're ready, you can come up into a kneeling position. And for some, also, then it will be nice to put a pillow underneath the butt cheeks or in between the legs and the knees or sitting on it. It varies with our forms. And then you can just for a moment, after a little bit of the movement, which is this representative again of the energy, whoo, moving, of the life force activating, and then we come back to sinking into being. So you exhale and you allow your head to be its weight. You let the shoulders down. You let the weight of the torso sink into the hips, and you sink into the ankles. And from there, you can take your two hands together in front of your chest, which is this natural activator of the energy around the magnetic monopole, the heart. So maybe you feel it. Maybe you feel more centered. Maybe you feel slight igniting, something igniting in your chest. Just the hands slightly touching there and the awareness residing here. We can also bow our head a little bit, which kind of centers the energy even more there. Maybe then you start to feel the energetic of the heart a little bit. Maybe it's pulsating, maybe it's just feeling like it's bubbling, or there's the spark there. There's a spark in your heart. And in our journey today, we first ventured into this process of actually sinking down into ourself, into being, and then rekindling what naturally occurs in this process, the connection with the ground, the foundation, and the support for our state of being. Purely energetical. Of course, you have the support of the earth. In all the other ways, the earth supports us. It gives us the wood to build houses. It gives us water. It gives us, but the purely energetics of it is actually sinking down into the physical vessel. Allows for the energetics, the connection between the ground and the vessel, which then supports the structure in realigning around the spine, which then supports us into coming back to ourselves, basically. So when you now gather your focus around the heart, it's this motherboard, it's a central hub for all that we are. All the other awareness centers, all the information and signals, and it runs by this place. So you can tune to yourself by tuning to this place. It tunes to you. The little spark in there that you may be feeling, that spark is the resonance of you. It's the excitement of an explosion of life force in the expression of you. And this life force is ignited and turned on in all the things that is in resonance and in the trajectory of you. So now, with the awareness here, just allow the breath also maybe to just float a little bit more here. Maybe you just keep looking for sensations, for the little pulsations or tiny subtle movements, or and behind that you're looking for the spark in your heart. And if you feel the spark in your heart, it's the same as feeling the total life force excitement in this vessel of being here, of being you. And when you, maybe the spark kind of, ooh, you got it, and then it disappears, or just keep finding the spark. The spark, that's you. And when you feel the spark, just breathe into the spark. So you allow it, you feel it, you allow it to almost heighten a little bit in its sensation. And continue to use your breath to almost massage the spark out, so you can start to, maybe what started as a tiny little inkling of a spark can start to radiate, to expand slightly. And start to notice how when the spark is um, ignited just slightly by your breath, it's almost like you can look at it as a, this is a fire, this is a tiny little fire. And then when you breathe here, you bring oxygen to this fire. You start to, like when you blow on an actual fire, it starts to explode and expand and radiate this flame. But it's more like a spark. And notice how when you start to touch and massage the spark, there is this feeling of love. Feel into the spark and notice what is there. It's not a something you need to imagine. It's something that is there. It's just something to choose to open to and tune into. Inside this spark, it's love. It's the love, the vibrational code that is you. That becomes all the other energies running around throughout your system, in all the other centers of the different expressions of this love. Now, as you breathe into the spark, allow it to expand, allow the spark to expand. With the inhale, it expands slightly, and with the exhale, it just softens and expands slightly more. So you can feel it now opening in the chest, opening and spreading. Just continue to feel the love underneath it, like a wave. And allow this wave then to start flowing throughout the body, to spread with each breath, to spread all around, up into the head, up through the arms, turning this being on in the remembrance. And you can allow the spread down with the exhale in the belly. Feel the love with all that you are. And allow the love to even spread down through the thighs. So it's coming into the hips and down through the thighs. The love, the spark, the ignition of who you are. The love down in through the calves, the legs, into the feet, where you can feel the ground, where you can feel the love from underneath, the support. As you click into form and be all that you are. You can allow the love to radiate out naturally. It starts to go beyond the actual physical vessel. And it becomes this meeting of this love all around. The love is there already, radiating towards you. And the love is here with you because it's who you are. You can allow this love to spread and just merge with all the love. As you're here, as you're connected, it is through clicking into form, being who you are, you actually click into this whole creation as one puzzle piece. And we become a part of it all. Oneness is not this idea of all becoming one, being. Oneness is becoming you, is becoming one with you. And there, in that geometry, you click into the whole as one puzzle piece and we become the whole. Allow this feeling to center around your spine and your being. The remembrance, the knowing of who and what you are. That was our journey for this now moment. It was very much enjoyable doing it in the tuning into all the beings who are supposed to tune into this. My name is Christiane, and I am a 4/6 projector with 2 channels of curiosity, channel of awakening, 1156, 2010, and this is what I dive into and study as a projector. The embodied awakening and the activation of you. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Maybe the sensations from the things we explored in the meditation can be something to sit with or just contemplate a little bit around. They are definitely codes that you can take with you and explore in the beingness of being in the world. And they are supporting tools that can help support you in the state of being. Because it is in one way a very vulnerable place, but it is also where you are open and connected to the whole. And the whole just wants to see and support you in that process. So enjoy the rest of your day. Much love.